Ezekiel, or Ezekiel, chapters 38 and 39. And the word of Yehovah came to me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog of the land of Magog, the prince of Rosh, Meshek, and Tubal, and prophesy against him. And you shall say, Thus says the Master Yehovah, See, I am against you, O Gog, the prince of Rosh, Meshek, and Tubal. And I shall turn you around, and I shall put hooks into your jaws, and shall lead you out with all your army, horses and horsemen, clad perfectly, a great assembly with armor and shields, all of them handling swords. Persia, Cush, and Put are with them, all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all its bands, the house of Togarmah from the far north, and all its bands, many peoples with you. Be ready, prepare yourself, you and all your assemblies that are assembled unto you, and you shall be a guard for them. After many days you shall be called up. In the latter years you shall come into the land of those brought back from the sword, and gathered from many people on the mountains of Israel, which had been a continual waste. But they were brought out of the peoples, and all of them shall dwell safely. And you shall go up, coming like a storm, covering the land like a cloud, you and all your bands, and many peoples with you. Thus said the Master Yehovah, And it shall be in that day that words arise in your heart, and you shall devise an evil plan, and you shall say, Let me go up against a land of unwalled villages. Let me go to those at rest who dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and having neither bars nor gates, to take plunder and to take booty, to stretch out your hand against the waste places that are again inhabited, and against a people gathered from the peoples, acquiring livestock and goods, who dwell in the middle of the land. Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish and all their young lions shall say to you, Have you come to take plunder? Have you gathered your army to take booty, to bear away silver and gold, to take away livestock and goods, to take great plunder? Therefore, Son of man, prophesy, and you shall say to Gog, Thus said the Master Yehovah, In that day when my people Israel dwells safely, would you not know? And you shall come from your places out of the far north, you and many peoples with you, all of them riding on horses, a great assembly and a great army. And you shall come up against my people Israel, like a cloud, to cover the land. In the latter days it shall be, and I shall bring you against my land, in order that the nations know me, when I am set apart in you, O Gog, before their eyes. Thus said the Master Yehovah, Are you the one I spoke of in former days by my servants, the prophets of Israel, who prophesied for years in those days to bring you against them? And it shall be on that day, on the day when Gog comes against the land of Israel, declares the Master Yehovah, that my wrath shall come up in my face, for in my jealousy and in the fire of my wrath I have spoken. On that day there shall be a great shaking in the land of Israel, so that the fish of the sea and the birds of the heavens and the beasts of the field and all the creeping creatures that creep on the earth and all the men who are on the face of the earth shall shake at my presence, and the mountains shall be thrown down, and the steep places shall fall, and every wall fall to the ground. And I shall call for a sword against Gog on all my mountains, declares Master Yehovah, the sword of each one being against his brother. And I shall judge him with pestilence and blood and rain down flooding rain and hailstones, fire and sulfur on him and on his bands and on the many peoples who are with him. And I shall exalt myself and set myself apart, and I shall be known in the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yehovah. Chapter 39. And you, son of man, prophesy against Gog, and you shall say, Thus said the Master Yehovah, See, I am against you, O Gog, the prince of Rosh, Meshek, and Tubal, and shall turn you around and lead you on, and bring you up from the uttermost parts of the earth, and bring you against the mountains of Israel, and shall strike the bow out of your left hand, and make the arrows fall from your right hand. On the mountains of Israel you shall fall, you and all your bands, and the peoples who are with you. To the bird of prey of every wing, and to the beasts of the field I shall give you for food. On the face of the field you shall fall, for I have spoken, declares the Master Yehovah, and I shall send fire upon Magog, and on those who live undisturbed in the coastlands. And they shall know that I am Yehovah, and I shall make my set-apart name known in the midst of my people Israel, and not let my set-apart name be profaned any more. And the nations shall know that I am Yehovah, the set-apart one in Israel. See, it shall come, and it shall be done, declares the Master Yehovah. This is the day of which I have spoken. And those who inhabit the cities of Israel shall go out and set on fire and burn the weapons, both shields and armor, the bows and arrows, the clubs and spears, and they shall make fires with them for 7 years, and take no wood from the field, nor cut down any from the forests. For with the weapons they make their fire, and they shall plunder those who plundered them, and loot those who looted them, declares the Master Yehovah. And it shall be on that day that I give Gog a place for a burial site there in Israel, the valley of those passing by east of the sea, and stopping those passing by, because there they shall bury Gog and all his crowd, and shall call it the valley of Hamon Gog. And the house of Israel shall bury them for 7 new moons, in order to cleanse the land. And the people of the land shall bury them, and it shall be for a name to them on the day that I am esteemed, declares the Master Yehovah. And they shall separate men who continually pass through the land, burying those who were passing through, those left on the surface of the ground, in order to cleanse it. At the end of 7 new moons, they shall search, and those passing through shall pass through the land. And when anyone sees a man's bone, he shall set up a sign beside it, till the buriers have buried it in the valley of Hamon Gog. And also a city named Hamanah shall be there, so they shall cleanse the land. And you, son of man, thus said the Master Yehovah, say to the bird of every wing and to every beast of the field, Assemble yourselves, and come, gather from all around to my slaughtering, which I am slaughtering for you, a great slaughter on the mountains of Israel, and you shall eat flesh and drink blood. Eat the flesh of the mighty, drink the blood of princes of the earth, of rams and lambs, of goats and bulls, all of them fatlings of Bashan. And you shall eat fat till you are filled, and drink blood till you are drunk, at my slaughtering, which I'm slaughtering for you. And you shall be satisfied at my table with horses and riders, with mighty men, and with all the men of battle, declares the Master Yehovah. And I shall set my esteem among the nations, and all nations shall see my judgment which I've executed, and my hand which I've laid on them. And the house of Israel shall know that I am Yehovah, their Elohim, from that day onward, and the nations shall know that the house of Israel went into exile for their crookedness, because they trespassed against me, so that I hid my face from them. I gave them into the hand of their adversaries, and they all fell by the sword. According to their uncleanness and according to their transgressions, I've dealt with them and hidden my face from them. Therefore, thus said the Master Yehovah, now I'm going to bring back the captives of Yaakov, and I shall have compassion on all the house of Israel, and shall be jealous for my set-apart name. And they shall have borne their shame and all their trespass they committed against me, when they dwell safely in their own land, with none to make them afraid, when I've brought them back from the peoples and gathered them out of the land of their enemies. And I shall be set apart in them before the eyes of many nations, and they shall know that I am Yehovah their Elohim, who sent them into exile among the nations, and then gathered them back to their own land, and left none of them behind. And no longer do I hide my face from them, for I shall have poured out my spirit on the house of Israel, declares the Master Yehovah.